This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. And make sure you get a hoodie if you can. I appreciate it very much. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's first talk about this. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about this whole Tekashi thing, right? And they're like, it's so disgusting. He brought down a whole gang and this and that. They're getting the whole thing misconstrued. Now, I see how, I'm not condoning what Tekashi did. But I'm seeing a lot of people just not doing their homework, right? Like, it's pretty obvious who brought this whole thing down, and they're not labeling it correctly. I specifically listened to Joe Budden's podcast and a few other podcasts who are like, this guy, it's just disgusting, bruh. Like, to fold like that. And it's like, dude, first of all, you've never been in that position. Neither have I, right? Second of all, we have to play, and then they're like, I feel bad for Shotti, I feel bad for this guy. These guys are the idiots that brought him in, okay? You can't feel bad for an idiot, okay? I'm sorry that Shotti has to be away from his family, because I believe the things he did not deserve 15 years. I think that is pretty harsh, right? But let's go back to who this all really falls on, and the blame doesn't all fall on this guy. It was all because of fentanyl provided by CEO Chris, okay? There's a guy named CEO Chris that was already, you know how this is where it came to this. So Ebro was trying to talk about how Tekashi's always been a cop, okay? No, he wasn't. He was a kid that was an aspiring rapper that was a weak link inside of their whole unit. Now, here's the thing. The guy that was a cop the whole time, that they're really just not doing their homework, is the guy CEO Chris. The guy that testified on there. Okay, the guy that in 2013 or something, up to 2017, was part of a Operation Hardball. Look that up. And he was nabbed in providing fentanyl, shipped in from China through the dark web and distributed. And Mel Murda and him broke a deal, and Mel Murda made him a 5-star general, right? And then he was able to like orchestrate this and that, hits and this, it's like this guy was CEO Chris was operating like he was one of them when he was just some guy that was just ordering stuff from the internet and giving it to them. And of course, fentanyl is responsible for a lot of people passing away. I mean, it's almost like this is a secret way for China to take us out, the people who are addicted to this kind of stuff, because they mix it in to stretch product. Anyways, getting to the point, CEO Chris was a government informant already when he got into the 9 Trey Gang organization, and he was instrumental in the whole Tekashi thing. In the beginning, he was helping manage him, but Tekashi was a kid that was just trying to find credibility to go with his rapping, okay? I'm not saying he's innocent. He used 9 Trey Gang to co-sign him, which worked, and they thought they were going to be able to make money off of him, but they didn't sign him like an organized label would have, like a QC or a subsidiary label where they set up a legitimate operation, so the money wasn't funneling through their operation. And he was able to sign a deal with, I think, 10K, the Grange, something, his son, a big guy at Universal's son. So he already knew how to work the industry. And they didn't. So basically, anyways, getting to the end of it, Tekashi was a weak link where they were able to document basically all these things that were happening because these guys that are involved, Shotti and all them, were putting things on social media. And it was easy to track what was happening because Tekashi was basically like creating more conflict for them to attach things to. And then when everything crumbled, they had CEO Chris, they had the driver already working with them. And then by the time they picked up Tekashi and showed him this and this, he worked with them because he was like, all right, well, he might as well take a deal. They're like, you can take a deal. Plus, he's the weak link. He's not from that life. So it's easy to get him to cave. And he did. And I'm not saying there's anything right about that. You shouldn't do the crime if you can't do the time, right? And Tekashi, just from being around it, was doing the crime. and couldn't do the time. They knew that. They knew he would crumble just like with everybody else, and it would be more credible because he's a rap star and able to tie in more rap crews and everything as he did with, Casanova, Trippie Redd, Jim Jones, Cardi B, able to paint that there for later for them to work with. Anyways, the whole fact that Tekashi was a cop the whole time, it sounds stupid because CEO Chris was the one that was actually using NYPD to do certain things in the organization. And by the time Tekashi got there, CEO Chris had already been, setting up everybody over there already. It was already going to crumble. It just added more years to everybody's thing when Tekashi came in because he was able to tell more. And that's just a fact. It's a fact, man. So everybody's not doing their homework and putting the story out the way it should be put out. This guy, the main guy is CEO Chris. Then comes Tekashi and the driver. I'd put them equal. And then comes everybody else who's talking. Anyways, it's Jordan Taylor with JT News. And Tekashi's coming home on December 18th. It'll be very interesting to see how that goes. But nobody has any morals or principles anyways nowadays. So it is what it is.